This is a Lego candy machine that I built back when I was 12 or 13. It sells M&Ms and Skittles. On the left, you see M&Ms taped in the window, and Skittles are on the right. Each coin slot is respective to them. To buy M&Ms, you place a nickel in the left slot and push in the lever. The candy will fall down into the tray. For Skittles, it works the same way. If a sneaky crook tries to use a penny, it falls into the machine without any candy in return, at his expense. The same thing happens to a dime. And quarters just don't fit. Over on the back side, it looks like I used whatever Legos I could find to put this thing together, until I pull out this secret compartment. I can now take out this lock. And finally, a cover can be removed by pulling on a small plastic extension. This allows the money to be shaken out of the machine. After the contents have been cleared, it can be sealed up again. The lid of the machine also has a locking mechanism. On the back side, this Lego can be removed. It was made by cutting off this extra plastic. Now I can shove this Lego rod into the machine to lock down the lid. Many of the pieces here are super glued to increase strength. I can also remove this piece on the front to unlock the lid. This is what the machine looks like inside the candy compartments. When a nickel is placed in, the candy is pushed out. Now it's time to show you the mechanism. Many of the smooth Legos here were written on when my siblings and I made a Lego town a long time ago. Here's the motion of the lever. When a nickel is placed in, it gets caught on the arm for the M&Ms. The M&Ms fall down their slot, and the nickel falls down its slot. Building the Skittle mechanism was tougher because the nickel had to roll farther in without it jamming. Pennies and dimes simply don't work because they pass under those Lego arms, leaving a crook very frustrated. As the nickel falls into the lever, it gets pushed across this surface and falls into its slot. This ramp here helps fix coin jams, otherwise the machine has to be taken apart. The machine can be shooken in the hopes of it falling down in the wider slot, at the expense of the customer though. On the base, there are more ramps to cause the coins to roll out of the way of the next coin. This Lego here prevents customers from pushing in the coin while the lever is also pushed in. Otherwise, this would cause a certain jam. The coin simply bounces back out. It is possible that if the lever is slightly pushed in, it may not block the nickel. This is where that extra wide slot comes into play. So that's what happens inside my Lego candy machine. Now let's move on to the lid's locking mechanism. When the lid is locked, this blue Lego is pushed in. When it's unlocked, it's pushed back out. I'll demonstrate it with a mock version of the lid. When the Lego rod hits the blue Lego, it pushes it into another tube, locking it in place. Again, many of these Legos are super glued here. When it needs to be unlocked, the blue Lego is pushed back out. So there you have it. For an uninformed family member, it's nearly impossible to steal candy or money without damaging the machine. If that were the case, they'd have little chance of putting it back together properly, and I know something was amiss. While I won't provide detailed instructions on how to build this, I still challenge you guys to build one yourself. I went through many versions before I got this one, so it'll take a bit of tinkering before you get a working model. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to share it with your friends, and thanks for watching.
I'm drawn to the mountains. The freedom they offer, the challenge they present. Why do I seek the unknown? Is it to prove myself? Or to find myself? The untracked path of the wild, alone and alive I roam. I'm drawn to the mountains. Experiencing freedom with every step I take. For me, that's the true spirit of exploration.
Thank you.
Rediscover real service at Thrifty Link Hardware, because at Thrifty Link, nothing's too hard.
I love my boyfriend. We've been together since like 8th grade. He's my best friend. He takes care of me.
But と思ったけど、電話かけたから痛いの治りました。ワンスのおかげです。もう大丈夫なんで心配しないでください。バイバイ。
Hey everyone, I'm going to be recording today's unboxing from a hotel. And this is going to be the Meffert's treasure chest, and it's kind of interesting. They sent it to me in this kind of ribbon to hold the box together, which, you know, I'm all for. I'd rather get this a day earlier than have to wait for another day before they get the tape restocked. So let's see if I can just get this undone. There we go. Oh, interesting little box that came along with it. Well, I'm not sure if these are old boxes or not, but I think they make good packaging. You know, I don't really care how I get the cube. And here it is. So it looks like they give it to me in the little flower pattern, or center switching pattern, so that it doesn't come apart. So, it seems pretty decent for now. So let's get this out of the pattern. And... okay, so the top part should just come off. There it goes! Okay, let's see what they have inside. So it looks like it's just a little plastic jewel that they put inside it. So, and the top part? Yeah, the top part does come apart, so you will have to be careful about that when opening it up. Okay, so I will start playing around with this, and by the time I get home, I should be able to have a good review planned out. And at the end of the video, you'll be able to see just what I would put in this thing. Alright, so far, I really like this cube a lot, but it does turn a bit on the rough side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some lubrication, and I'm going to be careful not to, like, lubricate, you know, the insides or even the edges. I'm just going to lubricate down inside these little notches, so that hopefully, you know, when you open it up, you don't get sticky or anything. Alright, and let's work it all in. Oh yes, large improvement already. Yes, the puzzle has definitely improved from it, and I barely put any in, so yeah, it's turning quite nicely now. But one thing I was a little worried about lubricating this puzzle is when you take the top off, if it will fall apart at all. No, if you're careful. Yeah, if you're careful, you know, it doesn't hold together quite as easily as before, but, you know, if you just take it off, just kind of hold it gently, you know, just use a little bit of common sense, it works very nicely. There we are. Alright, so I'm going to give you just 2 complete solves, just so that you guys can get a nice feel of how this puzzle turns and everything. Okay, that should be enough. Oops. The little mosaics are a little tough to get used to. Totally screwed up on an F2L tear there. It'll still take a little getting used to, actually. You know, how easy this turns now. Oops. Ah! Totally screwed up on that G-perm. It's a little tougher because it's a little it's not, you can't just do the quick finger tricks on it. So, but anyway, I think you guys get the idea. So now let's look at the actual mechanism, and it almost reminds me of the void cube mechanism, just how all the pieces lock together here. It's a little, yeah, it's a bit different than the pieces from it, but it has the same concept with locking the pieces together and such. So you can see that the pieces, they just kind of slide into place. And even with just two pieces, you cannot pull them apart. They can only be slid apart like that. And here I'll show you how the pieces that unlock from each other works. So let me get that one out of there. It's a bit tricky to get those out. And this edge is the blue-pink one here, so it should just fit right on there. Yeah. Just slides right past the barrier. So that's how the rest of the pieces work. They just slide right through the notches. And each of them has a different pattern on them to ensure that no other pieces can fit through them. It's really an ingenious mechanism. And if you're interested in taking this puzzle completely apart, it's really rather a pain to put back together because each piece has to be kind of slid out to fit in the next one. So yeah, you can take the lid off and maybe one or two pieces like I did, but I wouldn't recommend doing anything more than that because it can be a bit tricky. So what would I put in this cube? Well, I would take a mini 3x3 with the cube and a cube and a cube pattern and put it in the cube. I think that is rather appropriate. Then we would just fit it on top, but oh wait, oh grr, it doesn't fit. I thought for sure it would. Man, now I'm just gonna have to find a smaller 3x3. But, oh well, I'll have to do that later on. But overall, I think this is an awesome cube. You can get it from the link in the description below. My only suggestion is that instead of choosing what color jewel we want to go inside it, that we'd be able to choose which color stickers we go on the side that gets taken off. Because I always solve the white side first, and, you know, all I gotta do is solve the first two layers, and I can still take off the bottom. So I may end up just taking off the tiles and then re-gluing them on, but still, I definitely recommend getting this puzzle. So I hope you guys found this review helpful. If you like, you can check out some of the other reviews I made in this playlist below, and you can even subscribe to be notified of future videos. Thanks for watching.
I'm drawn to the mountains. The freedom they offer. The challenge they present. The untracked path of the wild. Alone and alive I roam. Experiencing freedom with every step I take.
ドアがと思ったけど電話かけたから痛いの治りました。ワンスのおかげですもう大丈夫なんで心配しないでください。バイバーイ